All right, y'all, welcome. My name is Kelly Jones. I know it says Julia Carty, but I'm not Julia Carty. And I'm going to give you an idea of what to expect tonight. This is our call that is all about relationships. And we are so excited to get to share something that we are very passionate about, which is relationships within the business of network marketing. And the genesis of these calls, based on the acronym MORE, which stands for Mindset, Opportunities, Relationships, and Excellence, this is the brainchild of two of our precious diamond leaders here on our team, Becky Page and Julia Carty. And both of those women are traveling right now. Becky has gone to a Be Well retreat, which is a wonderful and good thing to be a part of. And Julia left today to go to Quebec for the Star Diamond trip. And so we're so proud of her and excited for her to get to be a part of that. And in their absence, we have just stepped up to say, that's okay, we got this, we can do it. So I want to let you know kind of what to expect tonight. We've got four speakers, myself, Kristi Salcedo, Danielle Brown, and Alysun Caldwell. And each of us are going to share from you just from the well of our own experience in regard to relationships and how that pertains to our business. And each of us are going to share with you some specifically chosen action steps for what we're sharing and how you might can take some of the things that we've shared and maybe put it to work in your own business. So by means of introduction, I am Kelly Jones. I'm coming to you from Carrollton, Georgia. We're a little outside of Atlanta. I have been with Plexus for 9 years now, and I am a Ruby ambassador. And my background is actually in nursing. I worked as a registered nurse all the way up until 1 week after our firstborn's due date. She was a little slow coming, but our daughters are now 30 and 26. And I was so blessed, y'all, to get to stay at home with our girls when they were little. And then when our youngest started full day kindergarten, excuse me, I went back to work. Only I didn't go back to work as a nurse. I went back into the realm of education. I got my master's degree in education and taught in our public high school here, taught math for 17 years. And because of Plexus, I was so blessed to be able to leave the classroom and take an early retirement. And what that has meant for me is that I have the freedom to go and be by the side of my mother, who is now 91 and often needs help. And I can go to her whenever she needs me. In fact, I just spent 59 days with her this past August, September, and part of October. And also am free to take care of our two grands. We have a 3-year-old grandson and a 2-year-old, today is her birthday, granddaughter. So we've just come home from celebrating her birthday, and they're only 4 minutes away, y'all. So I get to see them a lot, and that is so precious to me. So with a background in nursing and education, and combined with the fact that I am a career pastor's wife, my husband and I have been married 32 years, full-time ministry. I'm sharing that with you because those three things, nursing, teaching, pastoral ministry, they're all about people. I mean, it's always been all about people. And that's one of the ways that the Lord has wired me. Relationships are my joy. They are what motivate me. That's what brings me the greatest and deepest joy is that realm of relationships. And so you know that relationships are the start of this business. They are the heart of this business, and they very often, most always, are the result of this business. It's always been about people. So I'm going to ask you a question. Are you guys familiar? Has it hit your radar yet? This whole business about the We Do Not Care Club. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Right? So this woman, Milani Sanders, created a phenomenon, a movement through her social media account as she's ministering to women who are premenopausal, menopausal, and postmenopausal. And what is amazing is that she's got over 2 million followers on her Instagram account. Her reels will sometimes accrue 11.9 million views per reel. And the average number of comments for each post is between 10 and 20,000 comments. So, what does that have to do with us? Y'all, if you look at the comments over and over and over and over, women are saying, thank you. Thank you for this community. They feel seen and heard and validated and valued. And the woman, she's so funny. Like, I'm so drawn to her humor. And the reason that we laugh, y'all, is because there's so much truth in what she has to say. But I'm sharing that with you to say we are wired for community. That's what we desire. And in Plexus, we don't use the word community because it's appealing. We use it because that is what we are passionate about. So, 9 years in for me, I know that I've learned business along the way. I have learned the importance of systems. I've learned the importance of knowing all the things and having a direction that I'm aiming for and a focus that I'm walking in. And I know that if you're veterans like me and you've been around a while, you know that those things change. Systems change. What my systems that I operate with now are very different from what I started with 9 years ago because I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I've learned along the way. But while those systems and operating systems that we use for our business, while that has evolved over the years, there's one thing that I really want to talk with you tonight about, and that is purity of motive. And I'm sharing this, y'all, from my own personal experience because keeping people first, being a people first focused representative of our amazing, phenomenal company, the minute that I step away from that, y'all, it's something that I never want to change. But the minute I step away from that, you know what happens? I take a step toward paycheck. I do. I take a step towards me. I take a step away from my purpose and I take a step away from others. And so that's essentially what this business is. Network marketing is everybody's opportunity to serve and to get into people's lives as a relationship business. And so, because this is a relationship business, I have learned, I know many of you have also learned, and if you're new, you will learn that the toughest issues that you're going to encounter are probably not going to be business ones. They're going to be relational ones, relational issues. And like me, you've probably heard it said before, business is business. It's just business. Well, business is never just business when you're a believer, because business is always about, as a believer, it is about the glory of God and the good of other people. And so when relational issues come up in business, I want to encourage you, don't fight for the business, fight for the relationship. I've been there. I've seen this happen repeatedly over the years with people that I love very dearly. And very often when you're getting started, you bring together those that are the closest to you, like your dearest friends or some of your family. And most of the time, when I talk to people who are in network marketing that have hurts and they've got hangups, things that they just are still hurting from, it's because somehow along the way, their experience involved putting the business before the relationship. So, what I want you to know, people are going to sign up and people are going to quit. And people are going to be honest. And some people are going to be dishonest. And there are going to be people that are fiercely loyal to you when you don't deserve it at all. And there are going to be people that betray you when you also don't deserve it at all. And so if you understand that despite all of these things, God has made us a promise to sustain his own, to sustain his children. And so, if you will, and this is my challenge to you, if you'll put the focus, your focus on sustaining the relationship, sustaining your witness, and sustaining those things that are so much deeper than the business, versus just fighting to keep a customer or fighting to keep a teammate or fighting for your business or to keep a rank or whatever those things might be. I want to encourage you to let lesser things be lesser things. Because if we let the lesser things be lesser things and we let God be God, he will blow your mind about how he can sustain when it doesn't appear that things could be sustainable. It's happened to me over and over again in seasons of growth and in seasons of loss. And I have watched him sustain me because he sustains what is his, and I belong to him. And there have been times when I've been so amazed at how he's shown up and how points have come from places that I didn't expect them to come from. But he's been so faithful. And so what I want to encourage to you is that while you do have to work your business, don't fight for your business more than you fight for relationship. And if you get to the point where you have to make a choice, because you will, if you haven't yet, you will have to make a choice between fighting for the business and fighting for the person. I want you to fight for the person. And I want you to fight for that relationship because here's why. If you will do that, and even if it is not reciprocated by whomever it is that you are dealing with, if you fight for the relationship and the person, you are going to be able to sleep better at night. You will have a peace in your heart, and God will do the rest. What you really need are ears and empathy. And so I'm going to give you 3 action steps tonight. Number 1, check your motive when you're checking in on your people. Purity of motive, keeping people first, is going to keep your relationships moving forward. And your team will stick with the journey when they feel cared for and not pressured. Number 2, I want you to fight for those relationships more than you fight to keep your business, because retention will grow. Your customers and your team members will stay longer. Loyalty deepens. Y'all, they're going to send referrals to you because of how you made them feel. It's so important. Joy will multiply because you're going to end up with friendships and not just business partners. And so my 3rd action step is this week, I want you to reach out to one person on your team or on your customer list just to love them. Just love them. No agenda, no sale, just to say, I thought of you today. And you know what? That simple act may be the very thing that keeps them moving forward. And so now I am going to pass this over to my sweet and precious friend, Kristi Salcedo. Kristi, what I want you to do is introduce yourself a little bit, tell us what's on your heart. And when you're done, you can pass it over to Danielle, and then Alysun will close us tonight. So we're ready to hear from you, Kristi.
Okay, hi guys. Um, so my name is Kristi. I've been with Plexus, I lose count, 6 years now. A Ruby ambassador. Um, Relationships to me are very important, and I'm glad I was chosen to speak about this because it's kind of like really the bread and butter of everything that we do. Um, and I was praying about kind of just what to share, and there's a couple things, and they're kind of all over the place, but I hope you can follow along. Um, First, like when you build relationships, like Kelly was saying, it's this whole model is people focused. it really takes the joy out of what you're doing when you make it your self-focus. So like every number that we have in the back office, there's a name, there's a person that it's attached to. Um, you know, whatever it is that they're dealing with or health-wise, financially, like there's a story with that number. So when we keep our eyes on that, um, I think we find more joy in what we're doing. It really emphasizes like the breakthrough that they're having, and that, like this is something that it really is that deep. It changes families health wise. Like moms get like kids get their moms back. I know that was my story. Financially, like it really is that deep. So, and it really is for me, that's what brings so much joy in doing this and so much purpose is the relationships and being like the first one to know so and so is pregnant because they're asking me if, hey, can I take these supplements? Or, hey, I have an elderly, grandma or mom, is it safe for them? Like, it's kind of cool, like being in that knowing because we already established relationships with these people, um, that they're reaching out to you for advice and stuff like that. Um, so, so now my daughter's, of course, blowing up my phone. Sorry. She's someone in college, so she's okay. Um, Part of this too, though, if you are not pouring into yourself, this is like part of both having a team and also just with VIPs and stuff. You have to take care of you to be able to, like we say this to everybody all the time, you can't pour from an empty cup. You're going to be burnt out and you're going to get a little moody and you're going to a little get cranky and you're going to like not really want to talk to people because, oh my gosh, like you have to be able to have something inside of you to pour out to other people and whatever that is for you. Like for me, it's my quiet time and just really getting filled up with God first. I'm a better mom and wife when I do that. Um, and I'm a better just person for everybody else. I have more of me to be able to give out, or what's given in me is to be able to give out. Um, so I was praying and I was like, there's the times where I have felt burnt out or honestly, like, especially when perimenopause started, like, I didn't want to talk to nobody. To be real honest, like, and I had to figure that out in me to get to back to a place where I was being able to be poured out. I still maintained and everything, but for a minute it didn't become joyful anymore, but it's because it was a me issue that I needed to reevaluate. Um, I wasn't pouring into me or letting the Lord really pour into me the way that I needed to be able to pour that all out. Um, and in relationships, people want to just feel seen and valued, like Kelly was talking about too. Like we like to be seen and valued. So when having an atta girl pat on the back is always I don't remember how Becky phrases it. Oh, show work for praise or something like that. Um, and it's true. We all just want to have like a little like, hey, you're doing a great job. But it's not necessarily just about a rank up or about hitting the ascent that month. Like you see somebody showing up, like pour into them, like value them, see them, apart from what they're just doing in Plexus 2. Just encourage them along the way. I know when I started, I say this all the time, like my upline, they believed in me before I believed in myself. I had no belief whatsoever. I was like, who I am now is not who I started with. That's the whole blessing with Plexus. But their belief in me, like, is what got the wheels turning and like, okay, maybe this is possible. Like, okay, maybe I can, maybe I can cover the cost of my products because I was zero self-confidence, zero self-esteem. Like I didn't even speak. I remember first getting on these Zooms and I would profusely sweat, like literally like profusely like sweat, and my voice would crack and it would squeak. That's how I started. But I was encouraged and I was poured into and I was like their belief, I didn't have belief for me, but I borrowed their belief until it started growing in me. Um, you know, if they hadn't done that, I wouldn't have shared ever, probably, because I didn't think I could do any of this stuff. And I was, very like self-focused too, because I was just so insecure. But through this, even their belief helped my belief grow and change just me for the better. Um, what else did I write? Um, and then yeah, so like Kelly was saying to you, keeping people focused, whether that's your team or whether it's like a VIP. Um, when we're in a contest and stuff like that, and so saying, this is my budget, but you really want those extra points, oh, well, let's just throw in an ad in there. They already, like we can give different scenarios and things like that, but find out what's really best for them. Like truly, if they can only do a bio cleanse and a probio and they can't do the whole thing, get them started. Get them like, if that's what's best for you, for them. Yeah, you're not going to get as much points and, all of this stuff. But if they're seeing a change already and you are investing in them as a person and not a point, like, for one, I always believe God will honor that. And he does. And that's what he's always done for me too. And you're going to help them start seeing success and stuff like that. And, a lot of times those are the people who like end up sharing after all because they're starting to see a change. Um, and what else did I write? Well, Kelly took my action step. So, uh, I guess I would say too, because my action step was going to be reach out to your team and your VAPs and stuff not related to Plexus. Like a lot of times too, and it's harder, I know, when you have a bigger team, but like I pray over my business all the time, and I will actually pray and ask Holy Spirit to tell me like who I need to reach out to. And he always tells, you so and so, maybe it's someone who stopped ordering or not. And somehow you had a connection with them at one point. Just reach out to them, like be obedient to that. Um, give and same thing like on your team, like just reach out to people, pour into them, tell them what you see in them, um, whether they're building or not, or just like treat people the way that you want to be treated. Um, we all want the atta girl, the pat on the back, like tell people what you see in them. Because that really does pour belief in them, whether they're a VIP or just a potential or like I make a habit all the time too, like if someone's wearing a real cute outfit, whatever, that color looks great on them, like tell them that color looks great on them. Like that's just kind of like the posture we should have in general. One point I did want to make is give people the benefit of the doubt. Like that is a lifelong, just not even plexus. That's just a good thing in life. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Whether they're nasty on purpose or not, it doesn't matter because you're thinking the best case scenario. You have peace about it, and it really takes you out of the equation. So say someone, and a lot of times that's not the case. It's really, we make it about ourselves, and because we get insecure and we get, oh my gosh. But if you give people the benefit of the doubt, like say Sally, who has two little kids, has not replied to the last five messages, well, she's like, drowning in toddler world right now. So give her the benefit of the doubt. She's not ghosting you. You know what I mean? Like it just really gives you peace of mind. So and so is starting to disappear on your team. Give her the benefit of the doubt. Reach out to her. Hey, what's going on? How can I help? Like obviously there's a reason she's disappearing. So like give people the benefit of the doubt. Um, it gives you a lot of peace and them, and I think that just saves a lot of relationships. I know when I first started, I didn't. I was just so insecure. So people would leave, I would say nothing. People would quit. Like I had goals, fast start goals. I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm like, okay, no problem. I understand. Like, no, I didn't ask them questions. I didn't, dig a little bit deeper. I didn't like, because I made it about me and it had nothing to do with me. Um, so that was the last point that I had missed that I was going to say. Um, and one thing that I want to get back to that I used to do is I used to write handwritten cards all the time, to team. So that could be an action item. And I know it's going to be harder if you have a bigger team, but if you chip away at it or just pray who the Lord leads you to write something to. I would write them to customers who have like stuck around for a long time, like to my VAPs, I mean to my team and stuff, just a handwritten personal thing. My upline, Rhonda, she does this all the time. And I have cards of her like I'm a words of affirmation person in general. So I have a letter here from Becky that she wrote me, and I have one right next to it from Rhonda. Just them sharing what they saw in me. So when I'm having a hard day in this business and stuff, I will look at it and I'm like, okay, it's not me, and it really just encourages me. So that's something that you could do for your action item. So I'm going to introduce Danielle. She is my dance partner, my buddy. We are sideline sisters, but she has become a very close friend of mine. So Danielle, go ahead.
I guess I have to unmute myself first. Hello, everyone. I'm Danielle. I spoke on our first call. So if you weren't here on our first call, hello, I'm Danielle. I live in Fort Worth. I am a gold ambassador and I have been using Plexus products for 8 years, but I didn't start sharing until about 4 years ago. So I was one of those that took a very, very long time to stop secretly using the products and start telling people about it. That was me. And um, I was just over keeping it a secret. Now we can talk about it, gut issues, I feel like more freely than I think we used to. It used to be taboo to talk about stomach issues and whatnot. So I kind of just, and I also watched a coworker of mine who was actually not on any sort of team connection. She's actually under Jordan Roddenberry, her and her sister. Like I watched her go to Ruby like way, way fast. And I started a year before her. I was like, what am I doing not talking about this? Because obviously people want it. So that's kind of a little bit about my background. I am a gold, as I mentioned, and I will say that I've been gold for quite a while. I do feel like it's because I've struggled to get business builders. So I have achieved gold. A lot of people have achieved gold on their own, but staying at gold and maintaining gold, I think I've only dropped under gold once I've hit it, maybe once or twice, and it was literally by like a handful of points. And I really do think that's because I've been able to maintain my relationships and through that, I've been able to retain a lot of customers. So that's kind of my talking point for everyone tonight is retention. It's very hard. It's really easy sometimes to get that person in and out, but to keep them is a lot of times a struggle. So that is what I'm going to share tonight. I think as Kelly and Kristi have said, prioritizing relationships is key. That long-term customer service, that value is going to be way more important than the constant push for a new VIP. Of course, we always want new VIPs because there's always attrition. People are always going to kind of fall off, ebb and flow. But if you have that core group of people there that are loyal and they're loyal to you, you will be successful in the long run and you will have that residual income just kind of always coming. You won't have to worry about dipping low and being like, what am I going to do to struggle to get back up to the top? I would say, I would even almost go on a limb and kind of say your existing customers are more important than your new customers to an extent, because you have to, again, you're building that loyalty. You're focused keeping those current customers happy. And if you do that, you significantly could increase your profits because they're not just on triplex anymore. They're like, oh, I'll try that new active flavor. Oh, I'll try that cocoa flavor because I know these products are good and I've seen how they've benefited me for this many years. Like, I'm not afraid to try something new. And so then that just builds onto their order and builds onto their order. And they're stuck and they're like, once you try something new, you're usually not going back. Like, if you can afford it, you're going to find a way to afford it because our products are that good. So really maintaining those relationships with those customers, with your existing customers, is very important. I talked about loyalty a little bit, and that's driven by their experience with you. So if you have that positive personal experience with someone, they're more likely going to stay with you versus like you had that one interaction when they first signed, you said, oh, awesome, thanks. And then you don't talk to them for a month or two, especially on those first few months that they're your customer, really making sure that you are introducing them to the products, making sure that they understand what they're taking, the education and the empowerment that you can give them by your communication with them in those first few months is very, very important. And that also helps reduce churn. So the more they know and the more you empower, give them the knowledge, the more likely they're going to stay and commit and say, okay, but she said I need to be consistent. Like, I wasn't consistent. Okay, what am I going to do? I know these could work. She said they're going to work. What can I do to make sure that I am doing everything as a customer can have long-term success? A lot of them leave because they don't know the effectiveness of the product. It's because, we bring them in, we're one and done. Yes, like Kristi said, I got those points. That's benefiting me. But what did I do for my customer? If I'm not serving them after that, they have no reason to try. They have no reason to get that hope that they thought they had when they purchased the product, that this will work for them, that this will help them in the long run. Onboarding is really important. When you bring them in, you'll want to make sure that you say, hey, when you get your products in, let me know. This is what you're going to get. This is what you might experience. I tell them up front when they order, like, you might have some detox. This is where I'm going to start you, but just know that's normal. Like, and tell them you have to beat the objections first and be candid about it. Be like, I'm sorry, like you might have some gas, but that's okay. Like that's normal. And if it's too much, like, let me know. You have to keep that communication open with them. I always do like a 3-day check-in after they've told me they've received their products. One, to make sure they're actually taking them, because we all know that once they get their products, they don't always start them when they say they are. Two, to make sure they're not having any severe detox issues. And just if they have any flavor, like sometimes it's as simple as a flavor issue. They're like, I got the raspberry watermelon and I hate it. It's disgusting. Well, hold on. We have a 60-day money back guarantee. So let's get that swapped like ASAP, like right now, into a different flavor so that you can keep chugging along. I'm trying to think. Sorry, I'm kind of like jumping on my notes so I get off on a tangent. But I think personalization creates that emotional connection. And so as Kristi was mentioning, the note cards, the letters from Becky, from her upline Rhonda, finding that personal connection is so important because that makes them feel like they're not just a number, that you've actually taken the time and you care about them. Like you want them to be successful with these products, whether it's just as a customer or a potential business builder. Generic one size fits all communication is a really big turnoff. So I know sometimes we get in the habit of just like, here's a generic message. I'm just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Not only is that generic, but it kind of messes up your algorithm because now we all know social media is smart. It's too smart sometimes. And it messes up our stuff. It's like, oh, that's a robot. That's a robot. Ignore her, push her post down. So you really want to make sure that you put something in there that is specific to them. Let them know that you care. Personalize those interactions based on their individual needs. And then Kristi, my action step, or I'll tell you what I do, is, and I kind of got away from this a little bit. And I will say, I was trying to piece together why my retention had kind of dropped a little bit, or why my, like, based on my new VIPs, like why I wasn't hanging on to my new VIPs as much. And really the only thing I could think of was different was this simple little thank you card that I kind of let fall off. So these actually are like business size thank you, like business cards. So I like write a little note, whether it's the size or regular thank you card. Um, and I kind of like to be funny. Like potty humor doesn't bother me. My husband's like, you always laugh at the poop joke or the fart joke, like way before Plexus. Like that's just me. Okay. So, um, when I first started, I would talk to my girlfriends and I would find out that they would not go to the bathroom at work. And I'm like, but what if you have to go to the bathroom? They're like, no, I won't go work. I'll hold it. I'm like, no, no, no. Like if you need to go, you need to go. So in my mind, I was like, well, if people are, why are they scared to go? Well, because it's uncomfortable. One, noisy, smells. We get it, right? We get it. So what I do is I went to Amazon and I bought these little pooperies. Okay. They come in this size and they come in like little chapstick tube like sizes that are spritzers. If you get them on Amazon, they come out to maybe $3 a spray. And I buy them like 5 at a time. And I put my thank you card in my little poopery and I put it in the mail. As soon as they order, put it in the mail. And one, it lets them know that like it's personalization. It gives them a little into like this is going to be uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to be. Like I'm letting you know that you cannot have TMI with me because that's part of this, right? Like we want to get that gut healthy. And at the end, I was like, thank you, whatever. And I was like, here's to getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, right? Like this is uncomfortable. It's, but I'm telling you, I have some girlfriends who are like, can I have another one? Do you have any extra? Like, do you have any in your desk? I'm like, girl, I got you. Like, yes, I have extra. Of course I do. I probably have one in my jacket pocket. Hold on. It makes them feel a little bit more comfortable with the experience that they're about to have. And I always preface, like, you're not going to have to run to the bathroom. Like, I don't want to scare you, but this is just a little tool in your back pocket, literally, that will help you because you are going to have, and it's a good thing, you're going to have some nice changes and it's going to be wonderful. So anything you can do like that. And I'm not saying you have to go out. If you can't, if $3 poopery per your VIP is not in your wheelhouse, that's fine. Like make a little joke, put a little fun comment in your card. If you're obsessed with these mixer things, I know you can get these super cheap sometimes on Amazon. Maybe if you have a customer that buys like a bulk order and you want to say thank you and be like, hey, I'm going to throw in this hand mixer as a thank you. That speaks volumes. And I don't do these for everybody. Like I said, the pooperies I was doing pretty consistent with everybody. But I think finding that little thing that fits your personality that your customers are going to know is truly you and truly authentic is very important when it comes to retention because it kind of breaks down that wall of uncomfortableness with you so that they feel like they can come talk to you, about whatever issues they've been experiencing while on these products, or maybe something that like they didn't know was happening, or, they can be like, is this normal? And you can say, of course it's normal. And then kind of like Kelly and Kristi touched on a little bit, go back. Your action step could be go back to those customers in your back office that were your customers who are still technically active and just if they've ghosted you on Messenger, if they've ghosted you on text, that's fine. Just go to Facebook, find their post, and like Kristi said, be like, that color looks great on you. I love that dress. And just kind of spark a conversation and let them know that you still care about them as a person, even though they may not be ordering from you. Because at the end of the day, you never know that comment and be like, I've had some people when I've reached out and they've said, oh my gosh, I'm glad you reached out. I've been meaning to talk to you. And it sparked a whole nother order. So don't discount those little tiny interactions. I'm trying to think. I think that was it that I had. But just be yourself, find something that you can relate to with each person. Have fun with it. Be humorous if you have to. Like, I don't know. But thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I hope this helped some people. I hope it helped you. I'm going to pass it over to Alysun, and she's going to close us out.
Thank you, Danielle. Y'all are awesome. You've put in so much stuff that was already kind of in my notes. So I may jump around a little bit. But the poopery is awesome. I love that so much, and I'm probably going to implement that. So thank you very much. I think that was my favorite tip because that's totally something I would do. Like, yes, love it. Um, yeah, so like I said, you guys have covered a whole lot of really great stuff with relationships and the importance of it and the mindset of everything. I just wanted to kind of touch a little bit more on the shift of being others focused, because I think that's something that we all struggle with at different times in our business. I totally forgot to introduce myself, but I'm Alysun. I've been here for 9 years. I just had my Plexiversary earlier this month. So I'm a senior Ruby and I'm out in North Carolina. We're retired from the military. We own a restaurant. So we've been kind of all over the place. And this is something relationship wise that I didn't even know I needed. Um, my story personally was more like early perimenopause, just no energy, feeling really lousy all the time, and I was literally doing all the right things. Like I ate so clean, it was ridiculous. I got rid of all the toxic everything, and I still felt really crappy all the time, and I was taking a ton of supplements. Um, but kind of more on like the other side of things, I guess, was more with my son's story. So if y'all have followed that at all, we have recovered him from the autism spectrum from when he was little. And we didn't find out about Plexus until about maybe 7 years after that journey started. So it was definitely a big turning point for him, but it was kind of a piece of that puzzle. And I think through the years that we dealt with that, and this was like that all started 15 years ago. So um, I think what I missed and I didn't realize it at the time was relationships. I didn't have close friends anymore. And yeah, okay, I didn't expect for that to make me emotional. Oh well, we're just gonna go with it. So yeah, I didn't get invited to places. I didn't do a lot of stuff because I didn't have a way to connect with people because I was at home being a special needs mom. And I know if y'all are special needs parents, you understand how isolating that can be sometimes. Um, and I didn't think I needed all of this. I really didn't. And when I kind of got into it, honestly, I was very skeptical and I was very not really against it. I was just done with network marketing. I'd tried like I think 5 other businesses. Um, And I had done a lot of things, but I never did personal growth because to me, at that point, it felt like a waste of time because I wasn't, producing anything out of that. Um, and as I've come into Plexus, I had to really turn that around. I had to really shift that mindset and dig into the personal growth stuff. And it helped me to create relationships that actually matter, to create relationships with friends that pray behind my back and lift me up. And okay, thank you. I love y'all too. You're making me cry in the comments now. Also, just, I didn't really get a whole lot of sleep this weekend, so I'm probably extra emotional because my dog was sick. So we didn't sleep. I'm gonna go back to my notes and try to stay on task here. Sorry. Um, yeah, I had to go and switch that mindset. I really dove into the personal growth stuff. And we've all heard the saying, right? It's personal growth with a paycheck when you're in network marketing, but that can't help but spill out into your other relationships. If you are learning to be a better listener, if you're learning to be someone who cares about another person and thinks about their needs before you think about yours, that's going to do nothing but improve your other relationships. And when you bring that into your business, it does nothing but improve your business too. Um, I mean, if you're focusing on the people, the points will show up. But if you focus on the points, people feel it and they notice and they're like, she doesn't really care that much, right? Um, so it's hard to manage that, I think, when we're going for Lululemon gift cards and, leaders retreat credits, and we're doing all these things and we set these goals, right? And we have all these goals with how many new people we want to bring in and how many friends we want to help get. Like, you have to stop thinking about what my goal is and keep it on the burner. I mean, it still needs to be present and looked at, but the focus has to be on the people. Who are you going to help? How are you going to help them get there? What problems are you going to solve? Like, you have to have that focus on those people, and everything else is going to come in. And I tell my team a lot, if you're not having enough conversations, then there's not going to be a lot of action going on, right? Because we can't make people be ready. We can't make them get excited about our products or our business opportunity. We can encourage them and we can cast that vision all day, but we can't force them. So if you're seeing a little bit of stagnancy there, have more conversations, have real, honest, good conversations, focus on connecting with the people, and the points will come in. God will take care of it. He will bless your work when you're doing it with the right heart and the right motives. Like Kelly was saying, the purity of motive. He really does bless those things. So I want to encourage you to really kind of focus on question asking when you're talking with people. And that's whether it's a new person or whether it's a team member. Ask them questions. Well, what are you doing about that? What's your thought on how to handle that situation? What would you do if you were that person? What do you think is going to be best for your customer? Because they know if we're trying to sell them on something that they don't really want. Like, I think it was Kristi was talking about, like, if they can only do a probiotic bio cleanse, okay. Like, you might miss out on an incentive, but you've done what's best for the customer and what they can do at that moment. And that's what the best thing that you can possibly do. Um, and so when you're really taking that mindset shift, it's easy to slip backwards, but you've got to just kind of keep that focus on the people. Um, and that really, really does build trust. It builds that loyalty, like Danielle was talking about, like, when they're having a good experience with you, they stick around. So all of these things kind of go together. So I know I'm kind of bouncing around and I'm going back and forth because y'all came up with so many good points and it fit right in with my notes. Um, and another thing I wrote down was to just make sure that you're being consistent and following up also, because one of the things I hear a lot is, well, I don't know when to follow up with somebody. And if you stop and think about it, they might not be ready, and that's okay. We might be able to tell them, something that would change that, but we might not. We might just be saying, like, hey, you know what? I will be following up with you tomorrow because I know you got a game to go to tonight with your kiddo. So I'll follow up with you. I'll check in tomorrow and just, see what your thoughts are and see what questions you have. And then when you follow up the next day, even if nothing happens with like the progress of it, you have put a little, notch on there for your integrity, your consistency. Like, you said, I'm going to do this, and you did. And you followed up in a way that was like, hey, I'm going to be there. Just letting you know, I'll check in. It's all about them, right? So doing that kind of things, these little ways that you can just build trust over time. And just, like they kept saying, make sure that they feel seen and valued and heard. Um, and that goes a long way with clear communication. Um, a lot of times I think we tend to have all of these scripts and we just want to go, oh, well, it's this and this and this and this. And we give them all the information. And they're like, okay. And they don't do anything with it. And then you kind of get stuck. But we're like, oh, but we had this script. But if it's not you and it doesn't feel authentic, it doesn't feel genuine, or maybe it's too wordy. I mean, I am like queen if I will send like a follow-up that's like a few words. As few as I can get it. Like, I will pare down everything because I get better responses that way because people aren't reading this big long thing and feeling like it's about me and they're being sold to. I'm asking them questions and I'm keeping it short and simple as much as I can. Instead of saying something like, well, hey, I wanted to reach out and check on you. I say, hey, you were on my mind because I've changed that I to you. So every time I write a little bit of a, reach out message or a follow-up message or whatever, I'll type it up, what I'm going to say to the person, and then I look at it and I'm like, okay, does this say I too much? Can I change it and say you? Like, can I reword any of that and make it say you? Because even if it's still me following up and, it was me asking questions or whatever, if it says the word you, they're receiving it differently than if it's, well, I wanted to check in. I want to see how you're doing. And if I can help you in any way, then they're just hearing I, and they're like, okay, all about you. Got it. And they're receiving it very, very differently. So I think that one, for me, that is a good action step because I kind of had some of those similar action steps. I would say that would be a great one is to find a message that you can reword and take as much of the I out of it as you can. Make it say you instead. Change your sentences around, change your questions around, and have it say you as many times as you can in there. You were on my mind. You've been so kind. You've been this. You've like tell them anything that's wonderful about them. Like it doesn't matter what you say as much as how you're presenting it in a way that you care about them and that they're important. So again, valued and seen. Um, and let's see, I'm just gonna make sure I didn't miss anything over here. Oh, yes. When things are going well, I know Danielle was talking a little bit with retention about like when they're, really communicating and they're talking back with you and they're doing great. Some customers are all in and they're like great about it because you've broken down that barrier and sent them poopery. But some some people are real, real quiet, right? And you can talk to them all day, you can ask them questions, and they never get back to you. It's like they've never spoken to you ever, and then they quit. So when it's going well, it's all on them. They're doing a great job. You're cheering them on. You are amazing. You're doing such a good job with your water intake. You are really crushing it with being consistent. I'm so proud of you. It's all about them when it's going well. If they quit, it's all about me. It's all about me because they didn't do it. I am so sorry that maybe I didn't give you the information that you needed or the support that you needed. So I've had that conversation with people that have quit, and I'm like, listen, I am sorry if I let you down. I know that we maybe didn't communicate as much as we thought. If there's ever anything that I can do to help you, whether it's Plexus or otherwise, I'm here for you. And, your health is important to me, whether you choose to use my products or not. Most of those people come back because I was saying, this is my fault. I didn't give you what you needed. Even though I might have given them everything that they could have possibly used and they just didn't use it. But that's okay. You never want to tell them like, hey, you know what? I told you to drink your water and you didn't do it, right? They're going to be like, oh, she was rude. And they're not going to stick around. But if you're like, hey, listen, maybe I didn't give you enough support. Would it be helpful for me to check in with you every day and see how much water you drank? Would that like be a better way for you to stay on track? Like you tell me and I will do whatever I need to do to help you be successful here because I want to see you feeling your best. Like you deserve to feel amazing. So those kind of things when you're going through any kind of like rough detoxing, they're quitting, whatever, that's on us, right? And that is a really good way to make sure that they continue to feel valued and important. Um, so I think that's kind of all I'm going to throw in there because I know we're running a little over right now or close to our hour, and I don't want to go too terribly long. What I was originally going to say as my action step was to set up a coffee or a lunch date with somebody in person and just go and hang out. Just invest in them, ask them questions, see what's going on in their life. How can you pray for them? Whatever it is. That was originally going to be my action step, but I also kind of like the rewording your message step. So it says more you instead of I. So those are kind of what I would say for action steps. Danielle's was like writing the thank you note, maybe with poopery in it or something, which I love. And like just starting a conversation with maybe somebody who has quit and, compliment them on something or just ask them about their life and just be a friend to them. Kristi was talking about having a handwritten note, like writing a handwritten note to people. And then Kelly was saying to check your motive, so you have purity of motive. Fight for your relationships more than you fight for the business, and reach out to one team member or customer and just love on them. No plexus, no agenda, no nothing, just love on them because that's what they deserve. And that's what we're here for. We're here to make people feel amazing inside and out, right? We want to serve them in the best way that we possibly can. And we can do that by growing ourselves and building our relationship skills so that we have more to offer to our teams and our customers and our potentials and everybody. So, with that, I think I'm going to wrap it up. And I wanted to say thank you so much to Danielle and to Kristi and to Kelly for sharing and for opening and starting. This was awesome. It was a whole lot of fun. So I hope y'all took notes like I did. I've got a lot of notes now. It was great stuff. So, do y'all have any questions or anything? Or I guess we can turn off the recording and see y'all next week.
I will say one thing. Give me one more minute.
Yeah.
I will say, I meant to tell you guys with the whole poopery thing. A lot of times when I don't do something like that, it's hard. That follow up with let me know when you get your products. Let me know when you start is a struggle to get it out of them, to get them to respond back to me. Every time they got this in the mail, they text me and said, OMG, I just got your thank you note. And like it opened the door to communication.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, it at least got them to like say, hey, I got it. I received it. The line of communication is open. And a lot of times they'll text me. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I know whether to message you on text or social media or like messenger, because a lot of times I'm like, how do you want me to talk to you? I don't know. Where will you answer me? So anyway, that's all I had to say.
Yeah. Great. And then Becky was asking what your note says, if you don't mind sharing.
Oh gosh, I don't remember, but it's just like, thank you for trusting me with your health journey. Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't have one. Put me on the spot, Becky. Just like, thank you for trusting me. Ask me any questions. I'm always here. Do not hesitate to ask. And then I also said, don't forget, I always throw the referral program in there. Like, don't forget, if you love your products, like you have a personalized referral link that you made when you signed up for your account, you now have a personal referral link that you can share with friends to earn cash or credit. And then something along the lines. And then at the end, I just sign it like, looking forward to whatever. Let's, here's to getting uncomfortable. Because I never address the poopery. It's just in there. It's just in the package. I just say, here's to getting uncomfortable or comfortable with the uncomfortable. And I just sign with love, Danielle. So
love it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, ladies, so much. We appreciate y'all. Have a great evening.
Good night, y'all.
Night.